Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review and also my E3 coverage for 2015. We're right smack dab in the middle of the official day one. We've had 3 press conferences now. Microsoft, EA, and Ubisoft have all done their press conferences. Sony is about to start in about an hour and a half, so I wanted to take some time to get to a couple of quick videos, recapping a lot of what we've seen so far. Bethesda's, of course, happened last night, and you might have noticed I haven't gotten up my recap of that. I'm going to do that today. I wanted to keep it as kind of its own thing, and it just takes me so long to render some videos sometimes. It was just too late to put it up last night. So hopefully you're still looking forward to that. What I'm going to do and start off with really quickly is going to be Microsoft's conference, because that's one of the big 3, of course, that we know to be excited for this year. That was the first one this morning. Hopefully you guys aren't sick of seeing my face. It's just the quickest, easiest way for me to get a couple of videos out in the same day, so I'm going to try to, there's not really a reason for me to use too much gameplay footage right now. So you're just going to see my awesome face for a couple of videos for the next few days while E3 is happening. But hey, that is what it is. Microsoft, today, man, they had a great conference. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I was saying, going into this year and going into Microsoft's conference, I felt like there was potential for them to have the best showing this year. I just felt like they were going to ride the right energy into the show. And Phil Spencer and the whole Xbox team, there's something to be said for how they've been marketing themselves and making business decisions lately. And I think that they just get it. And going into E3, I was like, these guys just get it. And I feel like they know exactly what they need to do. There's no fluff. There's no BS. And I just thought that there was a little bit of business-related stuff when Peter Moore took the stage. I was disappointed by that. Talking about EA and some stuff. But you know what? You got to get that stuff in. Last year, they were able to remove all number crunching, all business, and they literally just went game. And that was great. And this year, they almost did the same thing. They showed us a bunch of new stuff. I do feel like the energy at the beginning of the show was awesome. Maybe it was aided from the fact that it was the first day of official press conferences, and it just felt right, And as it went on, the energy got less and less, I don't want to say energetic, but less palpable, and kinetic, I would say. But it still was great. Overall, I think Microsoft did fantastically. They opened with Halo 5 Guardians. I thought it was awesome that they opened with Halo 5. Between Bethesda opening with Doom and Microsoft opening with Halo 5, it's like, man, everyone's coming out guns blazing, and I think that that's really cool. No pun intended, or pun intended maybe. So they showed Halo 5. Now, Halo 5 is one of my most anticipated games for the year. I think that it has potential to be Game of the Year, but between Bloodborne and stuff like Xenoblade and Star Fox we know are coming, I feel like it's going to be tough. Since Zelda and Uncharted got pushed back, Halo 5 is probably the number 1 game for the Xbox that has potential to win Game of the Year for me personally. What they showed was amazing. The game looks so much better than the multiplayer beta did, late last year when that released, which was fun, but it didn't look as good as I expected. Visually, the game looks great. What's really interesting to me is they showed somebody playing the game as Spartan Locke. And I admit that I'm excited for Spartan Locke as a character, for the mythos of the Halo universe, and for whatever foil he's going to be playing to Master Chief. But I was hoping that they weren't going to do what they did with Halo 2, where they made it so that you play as Spartan Locke for some of the game. We all knew to kind of expect that, so it wasn't really surprising to see it, but I was hoping that maybe that wouldn't happen. What I really didn't like about today's stage demo of Halo 5 is that that's all we saw. Master Chief was nowhere, and that is, not allowed. That would be like if, when Zelda is shown next year, you don't see Link the whole game. You just don't see Link in any of the trailers or the previews of the demos. It's just all somebody else. It's like, no. You show Link. If you do an Uncharted demo, you show Nathan Drake. If you do a Metroid game, you show Samus. And if you do Halo 5, you frickin' show Master Chief. So, okay, we're going to play a Spartan Locke, whatever. They'll find a way to make it great. I still have faith in the game. And obviously Master Chief is there. He's the guy that we're going to be following, and that's what Halo's about. But I don't know, man. It just didn't sit with me that despite showing a really great demo that I did think was great, it's like, why weren't we playing as Master Chief? I don't know Spartan Locke yet. I don't give 2 craps about him. Get him off the fucking stage. I want Master Chief, So, but like I said, that aside, still what they showed was great. I am so excited for Halo 5 and what they're doing there. it's going to be amazing. So whatever role Spartan Locke ends up playing, they're obviously, some sort of dueling force between the two of them. It's going to be awesome. So I love that they opened up with that. I put together kind of a quick list here. They showed Forza 6. Okay, not my thing, but I'm sure people will be very excited for it. One of my favorite things that they talked about was Recore. And that is, we only got a CG trailer, but it was a great CG trailer. The pedigree behind the game is super exciting because Keiji Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, what? Like, wow, where did he come from? Making this exclusive Xbox One game, by the way. And as they were very proud to say in the beginning, this got me very excited. A lot of the developers who worked on Metroid Prime. So some retro studios guys, because some of those guys have been moving about a lot the last couple of years. As a lot of you may know, there's a couple of lead designers on Metroid Prime for retro studios that actually worked on Halo 4, and I'm assuming are still working on Halo 5. So this new game, Recore, they showed it. They were proud of all the team and all the people behind the game. You're playing as this girl in this futuristic desert with this robotic dog, and you get into a fight, and then the dog blows itself up, but it's got this little orb, and she's able to go and take the orb that was left by the dog and put it in a different machine, and that ignites the other machine. And it's cool because she says, "Hey, buddy, welcome back," when the robot stands up. So to me, it's like whatever the essence or entity or consciousness that's in that ball, it actually moves from unit to unit as you put it in all these different kinds of probably devices that helps you get through the game. I think that's the core gameplay mechanic, is based on whatever you have to achieve, you're going to get the assistance of whatever robot or device you put the consciousness into. So I feel like it's going to be great. Between Inafune and folks from Retro Studios, I am so excited. And you know me, when it comes to exclusives, the fact that this is exclusive to Xbox One, to me, means it's probably going to be better. Because exclusive games always have that special extra touch and magic, and it's like the teams behind them put that much more effort and energy into them, so I'm so glad that this game will be coming. I want to obviously see more on it, so it's hard to get that excited, because we don't really know what it's going to look like or play like, but the concept, the folks behind it, and the CG trailer we did see were all fantastic. So I really, really dug that. Now, we did see a lot of Fallout 4 on stage, and I don't want to talk about that too much because I'm going to wait till I discuss Bethesda, but it was great. Dark Souls 3. Probably my favorite announcement. Obviously, we knew to expect it, but what they showed was fantastic. It was an all-in-engine gameplay trailer. They didn't say much about it other than early 2016, so I love the release date. Dark Souls 3, potential game of show for me just because it exists. Thank God for you, From Software. You guys are amazing. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for making Bloodborne 3 months ago and now already talking about Dark Souls 3 next year. Just blows my mind, man. So cool. They did an indie reel of a bunch of games that look really cool, but I don't really get into too many indies. Cuphead was the big sort of breakout from that indie reel, and I will admit that Cuphead looks amazing. They emulated that old school 1940s, 1950s, Warner Brothers and Disney animation style perfectly. So excited for Cuphead. So that one game is a standout. Again, the other games they showed all look great. I just don't get too excited about indies personally. They did an onstage presentation for Tomb Raider I almost said Tomb Raider Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think it's called Rise of the Tomb Raider. Thank you. So Rise of the Tomb Raider was played on stage. Now, I'm going to talk about this later when I review E3 overall, but I don't know that I really believe on-stage demos anymore where somebody's holding a controller. I just don't, for the most part. And I would have liked to have believed Tomb Raiders, but the problem is what they showed was great. And I am so excited for Tomb Raider. I cannot wait. I'm not waiting for the dumb PS4 version later. I'm getting the Xbox One release when it releases exclusively this year. The game's going to be awesome. The first one was so good. The first remake, I should say, because to me, the first one is the actual first one, because I'm old enough to have played those games when they were brand new. And Lara Croft was this, all of a sudden, like, she was the big hot shit and everyone was talking about her. She was the big boobed, two-gun-wielding hero, and it was awesome. She was also snarky and cracked jokes, and I like that. And that's one thing I think is missing from the new Lara Croft and the new Tomb Raider. Still a great series. Crystal Dynamics is doing awesome things. Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be phenomenal, but I didn't love what we saw today because she was just running and jumping on an ice wall her and her buddy were trying to survive all this snow and avalanche. And it's like, okay, like, whatever. I don't know. I didn't think it was very exciting. And considering they were trying to make us feel like someone was playing that while it was happening, it didn't look like it because every 3 seconds it turned into a pre-scripted event and like a cinematic cutscene where she jumps from one thing to another, and then it all starts to fall apart. And then there's just a cinematic moment. Like, I don't even know if he was actually playing. I guarantee you he was never playing for more than like 4 seconds at a time before something else happened. And so I just wish that they chose a different section of the game to show. It ended with like kind of like a cut together little thing with a bunch of different scenes from the actual game, and you can see the regular Tomb Raider formula coming in, so we know that you will be doing more playing than anything in this game. But if you've seen my summation of the beginning of The Witcher 3, you've learned how I feel about games that hold your hand too much, where you don't do a lot of playing. And that's one trend in gaming that I think is bad news, and eventually it'll catch up to everybody. I feel like I'm one of the only people talking about it, and maybe I'm one of the only people bothered by it. It certainly kind of seems like it, and that's okay. But I think eventually it's going to catch up to the majority of the industry, so I hope that this trend dies sooner than later. But I do believe that Rise of the Tomb Raider, you will be doing way more playing than not. It's just what they decided to show today, to me, was kind of a misstep. But again, I'm still excited for the game. You should be too. It's going to be great. They did discuss Rare had a presence on stage, which I thought was pretty cool. They showed a Rare collection of 30 old school Rare games that's going to release what looks like in a physical disc, thank God, for $30. Now that's great. And these are games that I myself grew up playing. A lot of the younger guys might not really understand why we all get excited about Rare, but that's because you're young and you don't know any better. But I grew up on Rare stuff, and it was great, and they've made some of the best games of all time. They're a huge part of why I think the Nintendo 64 is the best console ever created. And so I love that they're bringing these games back. To me, it's not super awesome because it's just still old games. And yes, they're old games that people should love and start and play again, or maybe even play for the first time. But for me, like, I will always say Perfect Dark and Banjo-Kazooie and Jet Force Gemini and GoldenEye. Man, they didn't show if GoldenEye was on that. I'm sure it's not because of licensing issues, but if they got GoldenEye on there, that's fucking awesome. But all these games, they were amazing, but I don't really want to play them again. I mean, you might think I'm an idiot for saying that. You might want to yell at me in the comments below, and you have fun with that. I don't want to play those games again. You should want to play those games again, and young guys should want to play those games for the first time. So I implore you to pick up this amazing collection. I doubt that I will, because I don't want to play those games again. I would have been more excited for an actual new Banjo-Kazooie, or a new Real Conquer, a new Jet Force Gemini, a new Perfect Dark. That's what I would have been excited for. Now, what they did do, which is great, is show a brand new IP, a brand new game from Rare. And it's not a Kinect game, it's a real game. It's a pirate-inspired game called Sea of Thieves. Now, I'm on a weird 50-50 sort of plane with this game because it looks great. I love that they went for, typical Rare, very colorful and over-the-top art style. That's fantastic. It's a real game. It's a pirate game. That's awesome. I think that all looks fantastic. And I am very potentially excited to play this game. However, they revealed that it's a persistent online shared universe game. So it's all online. It's like an MMO kind of thing where you're just running around a world with people running around in it. And I don't love that. It could still be great. So I'm not trying to sit here? I'm not trying to sit here and just shit all over the game, because I'm very open to it being great. But I will say that my initial knee-jerk reaction impression is I don't like that aspect. I feel like that is becoming a lazy way of developing games. It applies to some games. The Division looks great. Destiny I love. And these are games that rely on that kind of gameplay. And okay, I get it. And obviously Sea of Thieves may prove to also be that. But since this game is being made by Rare, and this is Rare's return to form, if you will, Rare's first new actual game in so long, and it's even a new IP, I'm just disappointed that that's what Rare decided to do. I feel like Rare needed to bring us something special because that's what they're known for, and to me, a game that does this isn't special. It's lazy developing because it's really just, they create this probably really great world, but it's like, a game like this isn't about the game developers and the studio telling us a story and presenting a game for us to play. It's like they just have a world, which is cool, but they just give you a world and they say, here, y'all just mess around in this world. It's like, okay, well, you're not making a game for us then, are you? You're just giving us a world. And I think that a really good game from a studio like Rare, to me, I want one of their worlds. That's what made them famous in the first place. They created a Jet Force Gemini world and a Banjo-Kazooie world and a Perfect Dark world, and they told us a story and gave us things to do. I want you to give us stuff to do. I don't want to find things to do with other idiots running around my world. I want Rare to make a game where then they tell me what I'm doing. You know, like, okay, I don't want to say tell me what I'm doing, because that's the kind of thing that I don't like from other studios. I just want them to tell us the story and make us play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And so, you know, I'm getting kind of long in the tooth about this game, but it's just because I wanted to see more or something better from them. And I just don't want a bunch of people running around my game. Like, I'm not big on that, really, with the rare exception, like I said. For the most part, I like games that are self-contained. I don't want to have to rely on the internet, and I don't want to rely on other people to make my game good. I want the studio to make my game good, and I want my playthrough to make the game good. So that's the very long-winded reason of why, for me, the jury's out on Sea of Thieves. I will say that I'm thrilled that they're making another real game again, at least. So that part I'm excited for. Most of the guys who made Rare great aren't even there anyway, so I can't say that the pedigree is there for this game to be good. It's really just the name Rare slapped onto this title, Sea of Thieves. So, long story short, we have to wait to see what happens with that game. Could be great, you know. Yes, I'm not excited for it based on what I've seen, but I'm gonna give it still a chance. So anyone who's all mad that I don't love Sea of Thieves, I'm giving it a chance. You should too. We'll see what happens there. Also, two other quick things that I do not want to forget to talk about is they also had a presentation of the HoloLens, which I thought was pretty cool. What they did is they actually had somebody from Mojang come out, and there was actually two people. One girl who was using like a tablet sort of thing to play Minecraft, and this other guy who actually was wearing a HoloLens. And what they did is they had the HoloLens in front of the camera, so that the camera could actually see what the HoloLens was showing. And it was amazing. It's building on the technology that the 3DS actually first put in place. The 3DS, and even I think the PlayStation PSP or the PlayStation Vita, really the 3DS kind of did this, where they had the AR cards and you could like film and it would turn your tabletop into like this whole other world, and you could circle your 3DS around. And it's exactly what the HoloLens is doing. And he was able to take Minecraft he was like looking at it on a wall and playing like through the lens. He could see it projected on a wall. And then he turned it into this tabletop, and this whole tabletop became this like 3D diorama of Minecraft. And we could see the girl playing, controlling her character. And you could like get right up and inside of the world, and he could move it around and zoom in, and he could interact with it with his hands while she was playing through it, and you could see her playing the game, her tiny little avatar moving around the world. It was fucking unbelievable. It was so cool. Now, guaranteed, this technology is like 2 or 3 years off. I guarantee it, before we could just buy it and play any game the way they showed us on stage today. I'm sure of it. At least in any sort of affordable capacity that didn't cost like $5,000. I'm sure that technology is nowhere close to being perfected, but showing it off today was a brilliant move by Microsoft, and it showed that what their teams are working on, and it's the closest to the next way to play games that I could possibly think of right now. I mean, I'm telling you, in probably 15 or 20 years, what we're doing with games is going to be something that we can trace back to what we've seen today. So that was really cool. Good job, Microsoft and Mojang. They did also show off their new controller, by the way, the Xbox One controller, and all the crazy technology and interchangeable parts and the new D-pad, and you can switch the triggers to be just a one-click, which I love. Very excited for that. I think I've heard it's outrageously expensive, but if it's not outrageously expensive, I'm going to pick one up. Also, the other thing that they talked about that I did not want to forget to mention was backwards compatibility for the Xbox One. Holy cow, the place lost their minds when they announced this. Microsoft, I applaud you. That is a Phil Spencer move, I guarantee it. It's why I'm telling you, Phil Spencer's the guy. You know, he just knows what people want and what that company needs to make it the Xbox successful. And the Xbox One will be backwards compatible with 100 titles by the end of the year. And then they're going to roll out much more. So I'm sure that, you know, most important titles within the next year will be usable and playable on your Xbox One. And I did research and confirm that retail physical discs will also be backwards compatible. I was sort of worried the way they talked about it, that it was going to be only like downloadable games, and I was pissed. I was like ragefully pissed because you know me and downloadable stuff. But once I heard you can use your actual Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One, forget about it. I'm so excited. Brilliant move. Now, the Xbox One and the Wii U are officially backwards compatible. Sony, your system is the only one that isn't. Instead, you're charging people for a service to play PS3 games in PlayStation Now, which I don't think is awesome. It should be backwards compatible. Let people play their PlayStation 3 games on your system. Microsoft, obviously, if a patch made this possible, you probably could have and should have included it for, right away. But you didn't because you were stupid then, but you're figuring it out now. All that matters is we can do it now, and I think that's super cool that backwards compatibility is coming to the Xbox One. At the end, of course, we all know Gears of War finally made its re-debut on Microsoft's stage, and what I love is they did confirm, I think it's called Gears of War Unlimited, which is a remaster of only the first game, but all the new things that they talked about sounds very exciting, and, this is a remaster that I'm okay with and I'm very excited for. Also, apparently tonight, you're able to get online and try some of the beta for it, so I'm probably going to try to do that and capture some footage and post it online. Post it on YouTube and the channel for you guys if that's actually true, so really cool that they're doing that. Can't wait for that. That is this year. I'm not remembering the date now. It was maybe August or September this year, probably. So not too far away. I mean, before the end of the year. Also, the big thing is they showed Gears of War 4. I'm so glad it was confirmed to be Gears of War 4. It's weird because I didn't recognize the two characters in the game, and that does kind of bother me. But at the same time, there was nowhere left for anyone else to go at the end of Gears of War 3, so that's kind of, it has to be that way. It looked awesome. The whole gameplay segment was at night, and I think that was kind of a shame, but it looked great. Visually, it looked like a, slightly better version than, Gears of War 3, which is certainly pretty. The gameplay looks fantastic. But it's nothing revolutionary. And you know what? I don't think it needs to be. I'm actually glad it's not. Just make it awesome Gears of War. That's all it's supposed to be. I really, really dug it. I liked the banter between the two characters that we saw. It looks like it's going to be a very interactive world. I'm just super excited. The monsters don't look like locusts, so I think that it's going to be interesting to see what the story is and who you're actually fighting in this game. I'm also hoping that, I've been saying this for a while, I would love it if there's a reason to take the Gears into space, into another world, maybe like, the moon or Mars, or just way far out. Do something like Mass Effect style where they can find, maybe it's far enough in the future where we can see what the planet that the alien invading force comes from, and we can go there and fight them or something. I feel like there's a great story to tell if we could actually go into space with the Gears. Maybe even in future games. It depends on, what time period this game is set in. But it's Gears of War 4, so it can't be another prequel. Obviously, they're moving forward, and I like that. So, it looked great, and so that's basically everything that they showed. Like I said, I loved it. I thought Microsoft had a really, really great show, and they mostly just showed games, which has been Phil Spencer's, mantra since he took over as the head of Xbox. I love the guy. Phil Spencer is fantastic. God, I wish, honestly, I love the folks at Nintendo too, but I wish that they also had a guy like a Phil Spencer working for them. I feel like that kind of personality could be great for them. And for a lot of studios, I think even Sony needs someone like that. So Phil Spencer's done great. Microsoft did great. They had a bunch of great games. Like I said, I just quickly ran through a list, but everything made me really excited. I am super pumped to learn about Recore. Halo 5 looks amazing, but give us Master Chief already. And hot damn, Gears of War, man. I am so, so excited for that. So that's my thoughts. I'm going to make a few other quick videos here, recap Bethesda, talk about EA and Ubisoft, and then get ready for Sony. So what did you guys think of Microsoft's conference? How are you feeling about E3 day one so far? What else are you looking forward to? What have you loved that you've seen today? Are you excited for Sony's conference? I mean, by the time you see this, Sony's conference might have even already happened, so feel free to talk about that. But mostly talk about Microsoft. What did you guys think? Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone's loving E3 so far. It's such an exciting time. I love that this week is happening. And yeah, keep enjoying the show, and I'll see you guys on the next video.